I'm your host and facilitator, Billy Ryan, and I want to welcome you to the Black Church Leadership Podcast with Master Life Coach and NLP practitioner, Apostle Martin Wilson. Apostle Wilson's goal for creating this podcast is to help you, as a church leader, to remove the spiritual, mental, and psychological hindrances that keep you from being the best version of yourself. We now go to our broadcast already in progress.
Grace and peace. This is Apostle Wilson. I am with you here again for another episode of the Black Church Leadership Podcast. Today, I want to talk to you from the subject of from directing to connecting. From directing to connecting. And I want to recommend the book that I took these notes from. It's a book by Dr. John Maxwell that was written back in 2019. I have not read the entire book, but it's one of the books that I go to pull out leadership nuggets. And one of the most important chapters in that particular book is the one that I want to use today, and it's called The Communication Shift. The name of the book is The Leadership Shift. So one of the most important chapters in that particular book is the communication shift. And if you want to grow in every area of your leadership, you have to grow in communication. You've got to get to the place that you become better in communication. Communication is not always natural for everyone. It's so easy. Often people think, well, you're a preacher, so communication comes easy. By nature, I am an introvert. I don't like to be around people. I don't like to start conversations with people that I don't know, but I have developed myself so that I can be a great communicator and that I can articulate vision to the people of God that I have been called to lead. So it's so important that you develop your communication, especially if it's not something that comes natural for you. So the communication shift is moving from directing to connecting. It's moving from directing, which is authoritative, to connecting, where you're beginning to collaborate and work with people. Then you lose the mindset. It's a mindset shift from you work for me or I'm your pastor, I'm your leader, to let's collaborate. Let's do ministry together. A director tells people what to do, but a connector listens to people. And we're going to talk more about that. A director is top-down leadership. But when you're a connector, you're listening to people. You're more of being able to collaborate and listen with people. When you're a director, you are enlisting people. You come do this, you come do that, you do that. But when you're a connector, you're empowering people. You're finding out what their vision is. You're finding out what their passion is. It's not until you find out what a person's passion is that you can empower them to find their purpose. Directors, they assume that because I'm the leader that I should be followed because I'm the leader. But as one that wants to connect with people, you become more understanding. A director is giving answers. Here's the answer to your problem. Here's the answer. But as a connector, we're asking questions. We're not just giving a lot of answers. When you're in director mode and you're directing people, it's all about my agenda. But when you're connecting, it's about our agenda as a ministry so that we can move forward. As a director, you've got to, we get this mindset that I have to stand my ground. But as a connector, we come to common ground. We want to connect on common ground. I want to come from where I am, and I want to come and connect on common ground with you. As a director, it's about me. It's about what I do. But as a connector, it's about the people. It's about the people that we lead. So in today's podcast, I want to give you part one. This is going to be part one. It's going to be a two-part teaching. And I want to give you 7 keys to connecting. So in this particular episode, I want to give you 3 of the 7 keys. So the first key that I want to give you, moving from directing to connecting, is humility. That is the starting place for finding common ground. Common ground starts with humility. It starts with me as a leader letting my guard down. And sometimes it's hard. It's going to be hard for us as leader because a lot of times we've been made to think that we need to put on this Superman persona. But there are people in your ministry, around your ministry, that are waiting for you as a leader to humble yourself and let your people know, as a leader, I need you. That's so important that you be willing to let your guard down and let people know that you need them for the vision to come to pass. When you get a God-sized vision, you've only got two options. When you get a God-sized vision, you only have two options. You're either going to be overwhelmed and end up giving up, or you're going to go and you're going to ask somebody for some help. Dr. John Maxwell says one is too small of a number to accomplish anything great. People want to help you. There are people that want to come alongside of you. There are people that want to be a part of something that is bigger than they are. And humility is the process of making that leadership shift and asking and telling people, I need your help. Key number 2 to move from a place of directing to connecting is curiosity. Curiosity. I know that sounds strange, but connecting with people demands healthy curiosity, asking people questions. Leading from asking questions is very, very powerful. Most leaders don't know the people that they lead on the level that they think they know them. You've got to find people before you can lead people. I need you to remember that. You've got to find people before you can lead people. And the way that you do that is connecting with people by asking them the right question that will help them to unfold so that you can help them to find their purpose in ministry to help the entire ministry go forth. Number 3, the third key to moving from directing to connecting is it takes effort. It takes effort. You got to go out of your way to connect with people. Sometimes that's going to mean spending time. Sometimes that's going to mean spending money. You've got to find them on their ground. You've got to find out where they are. And that's going to take effort. But guess what? As a connector, as a communicator, we can't stand back and wait for our people to connect with us. Connectors move first. Not only do we move first, but we're intentional about our connections. We're intentional about connecting with people and developing those connections. I hear a lot of leaders say, it's lonely at the top. Well, that just tells me that you're not a connector. It should never be that you find yourself lonely. You might be alone, but not lonely, because when you're a connector, you're constantly building relationships that will be beneficial to building the kingdom of God. You should never be lonely in leadership. Someone should be coming alongside of you. You should be grooming someone. You should be developing your leaders to come alongside you to hold up the weight of the ministry. The fourth key is trustworthiness. Trustworthiness. If you're going to move from being a directive and always just giving direction to being a person that is going to connect with people, you have to have trustworthiness. Can your people really count on you? Not to be perfect. Not to be perfect. Listen, it's not calling you to be perfect. It's not calling you to neglect your family for the church. We're not talking about being perfect, but we are talking about being authentic. When needed, and you're dealing with that brother that needs to be ministered to, or that sister that needs to be ministered to if you're a female pastor? Are you willing to admit your weaknesses? Are you willing to be transparent so that you can build that common ground? Because when you're transparent, you can help lift people to that next level. So let's go back through these first 4 keys. Number 1, humility. You've got to be humble. You've got to be willing to let your guard down and let people in. Number 2, you've got to have curiosity. You've got to ask people questions. You have to find them before you can leave them. And number 3, it's going to take effort. You have to be intentional about making connections with people. And number 3, you've got to be trustworthy. People have to be able to know that they can count on you. So I just wanted to give you those first 4, and we'll come back in another episode and we'll give you number 5 through 7 of how to move from directing to connecting. Until next time, this is Bishop Wilson. You've been watching the Black Church Leadership Podcast. Remember, God is the greatest power and you are not defeated. God bless.
You have been listening to the Black Church Leadership Podcast with Master Life Coach and NLP practitioner, Apostle Martin Wilson. We ask that you follow Apostle on all major podcast outlets and the official website www.wilsonleadership.org.
Sponsored by Billy Ryan Life and Executive Coaching and the Ecclesia Ecumenical Leadership and Church Growth Development Network. Executive Producer, Billy Ryan.